morning, welcome to Turbo Tortoise Tech. If you're new here, I'm Reese of the 4-piece variety, Wookie Triple XL, and this is your tech news in 6 minutes or less. Starting off with Intel, the new 200 series Core Ultra desktops are already being listed on Uncle Evetech, and some of the spec is quite interesting. For the processor itself, then we'll cover the chipset. So what kind of struck my eye immediately was on the turbo boost clocks. If we go over here, the max TDP now for the i5 sort of level is all the way down to 159 watts, where it's been 200 and 180 before that. So the 13600K was casual 200 watts. The 14600 managed to pull that back to 180. Now it's sub 160. And that means in gaming, you're probably going to be looking at like 100, because you're not going to be using all of the P cores simultaneously. It's only when you're doing full multi-threading that you're going to get anywhere near these kinds of TDPs. So that's really good. But as we go up the scale, you can imagine things get a little bit thirstier, and we're hitting 250 watts already with the Ultra 7. That's because they're doing 8 P cores and 12 E cores for this one, and then for the big boy, which I've got over here, they're doing 8 and 16 E cores. The E cores now doing 4.6 gigahertz themselves, 5.7 on the max, huge amounts of cache as well. These are shaping up to be absolutely mental. Now the Z890 chipset, or Z800 or the Intel 800 series, is getting an LGA change. It's going from 1700 to 1851 to accommodate even more space because of their chiplet design, which we'll show last. But there is a couple of interesting development and changes, just mainly around PCI Express. They've basically done away with PCI 3.0 compatibility. Everything's going to be PCI Express 4 or newer, and a lot of the PCI Express lanes are actually moving on to the CPUs. You'll be getting 24 from those, and then 24 from your chipset, where before it was 28 on the chipset and 20 on the chip, both adding up to 48, but much more faster PCI Express lanes though. And then lastly, thanks to some YouTubers and mad lads, we just love the tech community out there. They just went ahead and delidded the CPU, and you can actually see the chiplet design. And they're all going to follow this new design pattern where they have basically flexibility, like the modular phones that we were hoping to get, obviously. The processor now has a modular type design, which means its base feature set is going to have a lot more flexibility. Another default inclusion with all of these is MPUs across all of the processors, and there's classically the KF series, which is telling the iGPU to sack out the building, but it's only at a $20 discount. So I can't help but feel they're a little bit less attractive than previous gen. And not to be had done, over an AMD side, 9800X3D benchmarks have already leaked. They're showing way more core improvement than we were expecting. We were looking at like a 5.2 gigahertz speed, max boost speed, because 3D V cache does run into a little bit of problems when things get a bit too fast, and that's wasn't going to be like a 5% increase plus slightly better cores. We were probably going to see like a 5 to maybe 7% sort of range, but now they are showing 5.7 gigahertz and memory support up to 8,800 mega transfers per second. All of that is also on synced clocks. We're seeing 4400 and 2200 there. So this is very important, because the Infinity cache can often decouple and then you get noise, and I've experienced this firsthand where it just hasn't been really feasible to go over 6,000 mega transfers on the memory. And then once it was leaked, Auntie Lisa, just being Auntie Lisa, was like, hey, let's just rip the band-aid and announce it anyway. They've announced a sales promotion along with that as well on the current 9000 series. So those discounts should be coming through to South Africa probably in the next couple of weeks, we hope. I know we're always on the butt end of everything. And then finally, in really cool gaming stuff, the Unreal 5.5 engine demo, if you haven't seen it, is exceptional. The new lighting that they've done in that is kind of unreal. Even I didn't mean to do that, but even in a 144p video, you can still see how impressive it's going to be. I suggest you look up the raw of that, and perhaps I'll pop it in the comments down below for you. If anybody at IGN is ever going to watch this, feel free to hit up your boy for assistance with capturing gameplay properly so that it doesn't look like I'm watching it through a stocking. And if you pay me in dollars and convert it to rands, it'll basically be like 20 bucks, and I'll be able to eat meat in South Africa still. Anywho, that's all I have for you in your news in 6 minutes or less. If you have enjoyed this, please do hit us up with a like and subscribe, and I'll see you on the flip side.